What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Read Reviews podcast, where we talk about movies, TV shows, video games, and pretty much whatever the hell we want to talk about. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify. We're not on Apple or any of that fun stuff yet because you have to pay to put stuff on Apple, which was kind of shitty when I realized that. I was like, maybe if some people start listening, but I'm not going to no $5 a month to upload stuff on Apple when like 5 people
This
listen.
is not something worth paying for.
No, not yet. No, it's not there. We got a couple of things. I got one thing I want to make up and talk about, but we got another thing that I watched the entirety of that you talked about in the last, I don't know, whatever it was, 8 or 9 days ago.
Grant's going to be stoked about
this.
Is
he?
Because me and Grant have been watching, and like Grant also loves what we're going to talk
Dylan
about.
watched it in 2 days.
It is so good.
Granted, it's not a lot to watch, so I guess it's not that crazy.
It's a fast watch.
But Dylan binges stuff pretty hard. But I want to just jump into it. No intros. We're gonna make it kind of quick because I'm going to a graduation after this. That's why I'm dressed up a little fancy right now. So we're gonna skip all the fun beginning stuff because I want to just dive right into it. And this is gonna be real quick too because I don't have too many thoughts on this, I guess, now since we've gone past it. But I want to talk about Lilo and Stitch because I saw the live action Lilo and Stitch. God, it had to have been like 2 weeks ago now at this point. Probably. Because I had seen it before the last podcast, and the last podcast was 8 or 9 days ago, and I saw it a couple days before that, I think.
Yeah.
But I went and saw that. I accidentally bought premiere tickets, like special screening tickets.
You're a true fan.
So I guess I didn't realize it.
You've been just talking nonstop about
I have, dude. I've been pretty excited. It's probably I didn't realize it till like I brought up all the nostalgia and started like talking about it and thinking about it. And I'm like, I've watched almost every Lilo and Stitch thing. I've watched the entire series. I've watched all the movies. There's like an anime that they made like in Japanese, like a Japanese one.
I've seen the original a couple times, but honestly, it's been years and I don't remember most of it. So.
It is awesome. It is just such a cozy. It's a cozy vibe movie. Like the music is so good. It's very heartwarming. There's really sad moments and really happy moments, and it's just dude, it is an hour and 25 minutes. It's like the good old like early 2000s, 90s.
Hour 25 is fast.
Yeah, less than 90 minutes. It's one of those good old like Disney movies throwback ones where they're so in and out, and it's like crazy that they shove. It shows that movies don't have to be these fucking 2.5 hour Marvel movies or like whatever. And these are different things that we're talking about, but
we're still testing the theory though of the long movies.
That's true.
Like they have their place. You just have to make sure you know it when.
Yeah, just making it longer obviously does not make it better, and people are realizing that because so many times it's like we could have shaved 20 minutes off of this movie. Yeah, this movie would have been a couple points better, but it's in and out, and you can get so much in there and so much heart and such a good, solid, quick story, especially for kids and adults at the same time, in an hour and 25 minutes. Yeah. It's like, this is fucking great. So anyways, I obviously love the first movie, the original, a lot. It's very nostalgic for me. It came out in 2002, I believe, so I was 5 when it came out, which is probably like perfect time. Dude, it's older than you think.
Wow.
A lot of original voice actors from the original movie are in the live action one, which is kind of cool.
Nice. 23 years ago?
Dude, I know, right? But also, we'll get into it when I talk about it a little bit more. There's a lot of characters that they did not need to add. It seems like they just added them just to have those voice actors come back for the movie. I'm like, I don't want to care about this, but
why not?
So the live action one came out, or whatever it probably was, May 20th or something around there at this point, a couple weeks ago. And I went to a special screener, so we got these cool little wristbands, those slap close wristbands and stuff, and that's really all we got. And I was like, okay, because my movie pass didn't cover it.
Last time I got one of those slap wristbands was probably in elementary school.
Yeah,
at the student store.
Yeah, at the student store, 100%.
In the corner there.
So I got those sitting in my room now. Sitting and I each got one, so that's dope. And then there was a lot of people in Stitch onesies and a lot of people with Stitch popcorn buckets.
At what age?
Yeah,
kids?
No. Well, yes and no. Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's kind of weird for kids to be in it because kids are going into this like, what the fuck is this? Like if a 10-year-old's going into this, they're gonna have no idea what this is.
It should still be a good kids movie, right?
Yeah.
I would hope.
Yeah, it is.
So I mean, I think you go there with your kids.
Yeah, just surprised at how many people were in Stitch onesies. So I was like, okay, a lot of people are big fans of this. So.
I've never seen a Stitch onesie in my life. I feel like
until I got to the theater, then I saw about 2 dozen.
Nice.
I was like, okay,
yeah. Was it like a packed theater?
It was full. It was completely full. It sold out theater, but it was a special screening. So
people love live action remakes.
Yeah, because it was a special screening because the movie time was at 6:24, not 6:20, not 6:25.
On the dot, did they hit that mark?
Yeah. Well, there's trailers and.
Well, I mean, either as long as those started at 6:24, then I'm not pissed.
It did. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, okay. So it's actually still pretty brisk. I think it's an hour 45. I think is how long it is. So it's still pretty short. And I'll just give my overall thoughts of it before I dive in a little bit more. It's good. I had a good time watching it. It was fun. I would definitely recommend people to go see it if you got some kids or if you're nostalgic about the Lilo and Stitch series, because it definitely hits most of those core beats and things that matter and that you want to see and that I remember from the movie, the original, without even having rewatched it. It's heartfelt. It's a little bit sad. It's funny. It actually looks surprisingly good. Stitch, like when they first announced this one, I was like, oh my God, we're going to have a CGI Stitch interacting with all these human characters. And I was like, the best compliment I can give it is I didn't notice it or realize it the whole movie I was watching it. And I thought it was going to bug me and bother me the whole time. And I was like, no, that's Stitch. He moves right. He seems right. He looks right.
From the trailers that I saw in the quick couple clips or so, that was the thing that looked the most good. Like, I definitely liked how it looked. I was not feeling any of the this looks... Yeah, like it just looked like I could watch it and not think about it.
It works for... So the Lion King movies, the couple of... They've had the Lion King live action that they did, and then they had the Mufasa... I think it was just called Mufasa. It was a prequel or something.
Don't ask me.
And they look good. They're visually pretty impressive, but there's something uncanny about trying to make a live action CGI lion talk and act like a normal cartoon character.
Yeah.
Stitch, I think, works because it's not a real thing. Like, Stitch is an alien.
Yeah.
So it works and it comes off. And he also doesn't speak fluent English. He speaks in Stitch speak. So I think it just comes off the way that he moves and the way he interacts in the environment because he's not a real thing that you would expect to see and tie your brain to and something. So I was like, Stitch actually looks fucking awesome. But probably one of my biggest problems going back to Stitch with this is that I don't think Stitch is in it enough. It does not, Lilo and Stitch is a Lilo and Stitch movie. It's about Lilo and Stitch, predominantly. This movie feels like it's more about Lilo and Nani, her older sister, where they're really diving into her story a little bit more and building on their relationship and how things work with them. You don't go off alone with Stitch a lot like you do in the original, because with Stitch, he relates to the Ugly Duckling because he's reading the Ugly Duckling book, and that's not in this at all. And he goes out into the woods by himself after Lilo casts him out. It's really sad. I remember always tearing up whenever I watch this stuff. I'm like, oh, it's so sad. Stitch is just alone in the woods, thinking he's an ugly duckling and needs to find his family, and then that's Nani and Lilo. That doesn't happen in this. That whole heartfelt kind of thing isn't really in it. It's really just more about Nani and Lilo's relationship and her getting taken away. They get rid of the main bad guy, who is Captain Gantu, which is a big giant dolphin whale guy. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, dude. I feel like I do.
He's not in the movie. He's the main bad guy of Lilo and Stitch.
Some of the few things I can remember from even the few times I watched it as a kid was the fact that all the aliens had really cool, unique designs that I still can...
way different sizes.
I can remember how they all looked, and also the voice actors helping to portray that. And so I can remember a lot of those, which... I credit where credit's due. It's those are just good character designs.
Gantu is not in it. They just got rid of him. Jumba's the actual bad guy. He doesn't become part of the family at the end. He's just the bad guy.
What?
Yeah, and they take him away, and Pleakley is the one who stays with him.
Whoa.
Obviously, Jumba and Pleakley aren't Jumba and Pleakley the whole movie. They don't just dress up in their little clothes and outfits. They have a little hologram thing that goes over and do them that turns them into humans. And Jumba is Zach Galifianakis, which throws you off, which is so weird. I think they did a good job, but I don't know. They don't have the fun action scenes that I feel like the cartoon has, where Jumbo and Stitch fight in the
spaceships,
in the house,
and stuff.
A little bit of spaceships, not too much in the first one. In the intro scene is when he's in the ship and he's running around in the little glass tank, and they're deciding what to do with him with the Galactic Federation stuff. It's I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about, but it's the intro of the movie. You probably don't. I've watched it recently, so I remember it pretty well.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, the beginning of it is Jumba created Stitch. They're sitting in almost a big galactic senate thing, kind of like Star Wars, in this giant ship out in space. And the one big boss lady alien is looking over and they're deciding like what to do with Stitch, and that's like the whole intro. And then he ends up escaping in hyperspace, jumping and landing on Hawaii.
Nice.
But that's like pretty much a one for one shot remake, except for Gantu not being in it, and it actually looks really good. Like I was saying, this movie looks really good.
I need to know do they do a new version of Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride?
Yes, but no. It's the same exact song and
they
everything,
do, okay,
but new guy sings it.
They just redid it.
Yeah, and this guy's name is like...
Is it good?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually... And it's not better, but it's probably... it's close to the same. Like, it is... Because it's almost just the same song, which is a different guy singing it. And they got the same, like, school children in Hawaii to sing, like, the background, like, kids singing. In this, it's just kids of this age and not kids in 2003, which would probably be kids our age back then.
I think it sounds the same.
Yeah, and it does. Yeah, and that's why it's kind of good. It's just
you just need children's voices.
Fun fact about that, I actually always forget exactly what his name is. It's like Tongi or something. I think it's like Tongi is the name of the guy. It's this Hawaiian musician. Big fat guy, big fat like Samoan looking dude. Just looks like the happiest, like vibiest dude ever. I'll show you him after this if I remember. And he is the one who made the song, and I had followed him like a few months earlier before I knew about that. And all of a sudden I was like, whoa, because I saw it. I thought he was just doing a cover of it, but he made the actual song for this movie. I was like, that's sick. That's cool. Just a random find. Yeah, he just plays his little ukulele.
Hawaiian music is vibes.
Dude, it is.
Like beachy vibes music is awesome.
That's what they kind of leave out of this too, is like Elvis is such a big part of the original Lilo and Stitch, and Elvis is like...
It's a weird thing, but yeah.
It's like not really in this. Yeah, it's like, okay, well that kind of sucks. But they do have all the Hawaiian music in it, which is all so good and hits the nostalgic feels. The song where they play Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride and the scene... when they're surfing out on the beach and like Stitch is too scared, his weakness is water or whatever, and he doesn't want to go on the surfboard. It's like part of their bonding relationship and stuff. It's a pretty one for one remake in this, so that hits because it's just a live action version of it. I was like, this is good. I like this. So they talking about characters they got rid of. Gantu talking about characters that they added. There's like they get rid of Cobra Bubbles, which is like the secret agent guy. Do you remember who that dude is? He's like the guy.
Sure.
No, maybe not. So, he's like the dude who represents the Child Protective Services on there, but he's actually an undercover CIA agent in Lilo and Stitch.
Of course. And
who is checking on Nani to make sure she's like fit to raise Lilo, because Nani's like a 19-year-old raising her 6-year-old little sister after their parents died. That's the context of it. Bubbles is split into two characters. I know. He's split into two characters. He's like actually just a CIA agent in this. And then there's a different Child Protective Services lady that comes in. So he's split into two characters now. And so they do that whole separate, just totally separate. And I'm like, this is, again, just adding too many characters in this hour and 45-minute movie here. They have neighbors, which are voice actors. So David, which is like... I've got all the names and everything just logged out here, and you probably don't know a lot of the names.
No, dude, I'm keeping up.
David is the love interest of Nani,
of course,
in the original
movie.
That. Yeah, they are next door neighbors in this, and like his aunt lives, and him live right next to them. So, and he just creeps on her from like the next door neighbor kind of in this kind of style, a little bit
sexy.
Different. Yeah, hot stuff. Those are some of the bigger changes. I mean, I would say that this movie is probably a 7 out of 10. The original Lilo and Stitch for me is like a 9 out of 10. They made some changes, not as egregious as like what they do with most of these live action remakes. I really think if they're doing these live action remakes, and I think why I like Lilo and Stitch more than most of them that I like, is like just try to stick as close to the source material as you can. Like it was already great, and there's a reason that it was popular. And I feel like they're always thinking that they're making small tweaks when they're redoing it and changing it and stuff. But it's like once it comes to fruition on the big screen, it's like, Jesus, man, you changed like the whole core of like everything. Like my biggest thing about this is like feeling for Stitch and feeling him being left out and then finding his Ohana and family in the end of the movie. And I love that shit. I think it's heartwarming. It's great. It doesn't hit the same in this. I think it might only catch me in the feels just because I feel the nostalgia and remember the original. I don't think they built it. Like if somebody saw this for the first time, I don't think it would build up quite the same as it does like in the original movie.
Yeah.
But it's still good. Like it's a 7 out of 10 movie. It's just, I was just like, you know, you're comparing it to like an original classic.
All the like live action stuff just reinforces the fact that I hope like animation will never die. Like it's a medium because people are able to convey these stories and do things in a way that is like, I don't know, they're just, they get it. They know what they're doing. They know how to do all, like going and watching like Inside Out is like crazy.
Oh
be like,
God,
this is a kid's movie?
Both
like,
of those.
Holy shit. They're going kind of hard in a lot of these departments of how people work, but also it just is cool to look at, but you could never do this live action. You should never do this live action. No. Like, the ideas of trying to go into someone's brain and portraying it that way is like, just leave it as is. But I agree too, like, when they start changing stuff for the live action stuff, it's like, well, now you're just asking for people to find things to be like, well, why would you do that?
A big thing, like, it seems like a small change, but it's a big thing, is Jumba just being the bad guy. It's that's such a weird one, because you're like, oh, you see where all of these different characters are coming from, even in this short little story. You're like, Pleakley, he loves trying to care for Earth because of the mosquitoes, and then realizes that humans are good. Jumba thinks that he created this thing that has no feelings, and he's kind of like this lone wolf kind of thing too, Jumba is. And then he sees Stitch build a bond with his family, and then he ends up deciding to build a bond with them because of what he's seen from what he's created and stuff. Stitch, again, building a bond with family, Lilo and Nani, bringing these people in, all that stuff. And not having the actual bad guy of Gantu, and just making Jumba the bad guy, like, completely throws off the original vibe and, like, the whole, like, kind of point and story of, like, accepting and family and Ohana stuff. At least to me it does. I don't know, it was weird getting rid of him. I was like, okay.
There's a reason I'm not the audience and I don't usually see them. It's because I know I'm going to walk out and be like, why did I see that? Like, for me, I'm always like, the original's better. What the hell? I
cannot remember the last one that I saw. The last live action remake.
I don't know if I've really seen any of them in theaters.
I've seen, theaters. I don't know, because I've never been too excited. I'm like, okay, I can tell what this is.
It'll come streaming at some point.
Maybe The Lion King. I think I saw The Lion King. I think I saw The Jungle Book, because that's like one of the original ones.
There's an old Jungle Book live action I used to watch as a kid that's, like, not in any of the new, like...
Oh, really? I don't know what that is.
It's like a weird one, but I used to love it. I can't remember what it was. My grandparents had it. It's probably still... They might still have it, for all I know.
Dude, I'm moving to my parents' house today, and they have a box of cassettes, and they have a collection of VHS tapes, dude, like hundreds.
Nice.
Dude, and also, so slight tangent before we transition into the next show. I would still recommend going and see the Lilo and Stitch live action. It's good. It was fun. It'll hit you in the nostalgic feels. If you are older, if you got kids, I think they will still really enjoy it too. Go see it. Lilo and Stitch is great. And that's it. So I sold a Corvette like a week ago. A C5 Corvette. I don't know if you know what that means, but it's like a 2003 Corvette. It's a generation of a Corvette. It's the fifth generation of Corvettes.
If only I was a car guy.
Yeah. It just means it's the fifth generation of Corvettes. It's a really cool Corvette. And the lady, like, took it to car shows and was very meticulous about it. And she has a VHS owner's manual that came with the vehicle to the guy that I sold it to. So there was a brand new VHS tape in the case that I gave to this guy when he bought this 2003 Corvette that he could play and plug into a VHS tape. Not that he has one, and
it'd still be cool.
And could watch through the owner's manual. It's like an hour-long tape.
Dude, they were high tech back then too.
I was like,
they weren't messing around.
I was like, this is kind of a fun throwback. I know nobody has VHSs, so you can't even watch it anyways, but it was kind of fun. So that's what that made me think.
I wonder if I don't even know if my parents if we have anything at the house that's VHS capable.
I bet my parents do some.
Maybe.
Probably.
I would hope, but at the same time, I doubt it.
Yeah. Let's dive into the next show. So, Cody told me about this maybe on like 2 podcasts in a row, maybe 3 or something like that I should watch this show. Maybe it was only 1. Who knows? I can't fucking remember. But
I mean, whether it was podcasts or just in passing,
exactly.
I kept being like, you gotta watch this.
Honestly, I'll let you take it over and just kind of explain what it is and just who Nathan is. And like just a quick little.
Yeah. So
I don't know. I never watched Nathan for You.
So like Nathan Fielder is a comedian, and the show is The Rehearsal. Yeah. It's on HBO, and 2 seasons. I think both seasons are just 6 episodes.
Yep.
And sometimes it's like an hour episode for like the pilot, like the first one or the last one, and then they're usually 30 minutes, and you can fly through it.
Easy watch.
I haven't watched season 1 since it first came out, so I'm a little touchy on details, but at least like
it's all over the place.
I'll tell you,
the whole show is.
There is no way we're gonna be able to actually explain to you what's happening in the show unless you watch it. It is. I didn't even read any single details because I was like, no. It is better for you to just watch and sit through this experience. It's not even, you can't even call it like a comedy show because it's so all over the place in tone, in what he's doing in any episode.
His humor and delivery, because I watched some Nathan For You clips just to like get caught up. His tone and humor is similar to Nathan For You, and not similar content, completely different content.
Nathan Fielder is a character.
Yeah.
Like, his persona, he's deadpan as fuck. Like,
he's always just like...
He
straddles
the line, which the show touches on, of being is this dude, like, all there? Is he, like, maybe autistic? Is he, like, is he messing with me?
Autistic stuff.
Yeah, it's like, is he messing with me? Am I the butt of the joke? Is he the butt of the joke?
Is he actually trying to do something?
Yeah, is there any point to any of this? Like, he's just... It is truly one of the only people I've ever been like, if I sit and try to tell you a joke or a thing, you're never going to laugh. But if you watch it, I guarantee you there's something in there you're going to find that you're like, okay, wait a minute.
Constantly.
Like, so the rehearsal is about...
God, it's so hard to
God, yeah, just the base concept of the show. Like, the name itself. Nathan is a dude who's, like, socially awkward. He, like, kind of is trying to... he's, like, wanting to confront the idea of how to become... better in social scenarios or better at just being normal, quote unquote. So he has an idea to be like, what better way to do that than by rehearsing scenarios in life? So you have the preparedness, the situational awareness maybe for some unexpected scenarios that might hit you. No, we already planned for this. We rehearsed for it. So you feel calm, you're ready for it. So he's taking that into any facet of life, I feel like. It just kind of...
Dude.
It segues,
and the tangents off of the ones that he starts is so overwhelming.
It's the kind of show where you are watching him make a show with real people, and he's taking people and addressing, like, the first episode I believe is about the guy they rebuild the bar, and he's trying to tell his trivia group that he's, like, doesn't have a PhD or something.
He doesn't have a master's degree because when they first met, they all had master's degrees, and he felt left out for not telling him, or for not having one. And so he told him that he has a master's degree, and they've been friends for, which I thought it was like a year or two initially. It's been like 12 years. And so it's him trying to recreate a scene with actors in a bar that he created as a studio where they go and meet for him to plan out how to tell this one lady who's an asshole that he doesn't have a degree.
It's the kind of show where you're sitting there watching, you're like, so what are we going to do in this? And then he hits you with, so I went to the bar that this guy frequents, and I analyzed it, and we took pictures and blah, blah, blah. You're like, oh, okay.
We had actors study.
Yeah, you're like, okay, he's like getting an eye for the bar to recreate it. And then you realize he legitimately rebuilds 1 for 1 to scale the entire bar that this dude is in his hometown in a studio warehouse somewhere.
Yeah.
And he has paid actors come in to play all the bar patrons, all the people that work in the bar.
Not just that. Well, I don't know if this happens in the first episode, but not just that. He has the actors do the Nathan Fielder method, which is where you go out and you follow the people that you're supposed to be playing in the bar, and you try to make conversations with them and learn about their life and learn about their demeanor and just watch them.
So
you had them go to the bars and just tell them to stalk them.
You just stalk the person you're trying to imitate so you can learn who they are, see how they act, see their mannerisms and things.
So we can recreate it as perfectly as possible.
As much as possible. And just, yeah, the chaos that ensues from this man who gets people to buy, like, you're watching this show, and the whole time I'm questioning everything because you're like, okay, I'm watching someone who was...
Oh my God.
Like, I start thinking about the realistic nature of, like, okay, so this could be a real person who got approached by Nathan and he does his thing, I'm sure, where he's, like, in character still, and he's like, hey, look, we've got this show, like, HBO's paying me money, we will pay you if you are willing to do this, but, like... it's a different concept. It's unique. It's something. And, like, you could get someone to be like, all right, sure. Like, HBO. Okay. I'd
probably paying you decent.
I'd be on an HBO show. Don't care which one. I'd do it if someone told me and they gave me the offer. So it's like, okay, I can believe people would probably buy in. But then when he just lets the scenario play out, and Nathan is so good at just going... Like
he's always standing there with his computer and just
his shoulder strapped laptop thing that he's got
looking at you like this.
He's so good at it's like improv has the rule of, like, yes and you never say no to an idea. It's always yes and to build off of an idea and just keep the flow going. Mm-hmm. Nathan's is not like yes and it's like okay.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything.
And
he just waits for them to say
and the other person is forced into a weird I guess I'm gonna say something. And he'll just be like, oh, okay. With just like almost a question mark at the end.
And he'll kind of go,
Yeah, to be like, he has just the perfect way of looking at you to be like, tell me more, just tell me more. And they're like, okay, I think I'm going to just keep talking. And he's like, okay. And it just works so well. He gets people in this, like a circle of just like, I'm just going to keep spewing and spewing and spewing. All of a sudden they're saying things like what started as a little thought in this person's head where they're like, I don't know, in season 1 when they go, there was a concept behind a child, a lady wants to know what it's like to have a kid. So they're rehearsing
this fucking lady.
All the steps of having a child, all the way from birth of an infant to having a teenager who like leaves the house and goes to college, and all the steps.
And gets addicted to drugs.
Yes.
It has an overdose.
Everything
and then they reset.
Possible that you could find.
This is going to sound like such nonsense if you haven't watched this. What we're talking about. Try to go watch it. Try to look up an idea. But like, don't look up stuff.
I'm going to be, like I said, I've already gone for Lord knows how long just trying to get to the the crux of it. I get the rehearsal is you're just going to watch people doing these in... It seems crazy, and you're watching, you're laughing because you're like, this is crazy. This is stupid. Yeah. What is happening? And season 1 is a little bit convoluted. I think it's like pretty disorganized at times. And
Oh my god, it's so hard to follow.
It tangents everywhere. But it's still funny.
Oh, it's funny.
Still super
it's funny
funny
and super entertaining because the thing is about it, how weird it is, and like the nonsensical nature and structure to the show is like you're always interested in just being like, what is happening? What's going on? Because... So, for example, he creates these rehearsals and he creates these scenarios. He builds the sets. He has them happen. He has the actors come in while he's practicing. And then he'll go off on some tangent where he's like talking to the bartender. I can't think of an example in season 1, but there's an example in season 2 with the pilot. There's like multiple.
He does it a lot.
Yeah, it's so much, and it makes it so hard to follow and describe.
He'll take
so it's gonna be hard.
One sentence or thought that he or someone had, and he will make an entire episode with full budget going to it based on one idea. So could be not really related to almost anything you just heard.
He created Pilot's Got Talent or whatever. Oh, and I forgot about it, and that ends up being the outro of season 2. And I was like,
Wings of Void. Fuck, what is it?
I don't remember.
Dude, and that's crazy. The girl performed on Jimmy Kimmel.
Did she really?
Yes.
Dude, she was terrible.
Came through, but he did not lie.
Yeah.
He came through. Nick Fielder was a guest spot after season 2 was done on Jimmy Kimmel, and she was the final spotlight singing that song, the Evanescence song, on the Kimmel stage. And I was like, okay, see, now I'm bought in.
That's the
now it's
stuff.
real, isn't
That's
it?
the fourth wall breaking stuff, because this stuff happens in real life and has legitimate effects in real life. If you don't know, if you haven't watched Nathan For You, he had... and it sounds like you've watched all of them, but he had the bodybuilder guy that he got, the most famous one, that ended up becoming famous and going on shows and doing interviews.
I haven't seen all of Nathan For You, but like what he does is still like, yes, you see
it's real world effects.
You
like
see
it does
what happens
things.
at the end of like certain people actually might have gotten a little successful based off his help, which doesn't seem possible in most scenarios, but he has the way of making ideas that are so batshit, but at the end of it, you're like, could that work?
The whole flight thing.
Season 2. So like season 1, a little disorganized, hilarious. But season 2, there's an overall theme that encapsulates everything. And it helps so much because of like the full circleness of season 2 of just like, you're hitting tangents, but everything comes back to like aviation and specifically like plane crashes and the pilot and co-pilot's relationship. And... always coming back to that by the end of season 2, there were moments. I mean, this finale of season 2 for one is already just like the entire episode. I was like, I honestly cannot believe what I'm watching. I can't believe what it is that has happened in this show and where I've come to. Because what is going on?
Me trying to talk about it feels exactly like me trying to watch it. I'm like, okay, so what's happening here? And they're like, oh, fuck, we're over here. Okay. And then I'm like, oh, shit, I'm back. And I'm like, oh, my God, I just thought about this thing. Are we bringing it up? There's so many scenarios where, like, I don't know if they're doing a rehearsal or not because it, like, happens before... like, they get introduced and, like... and
they purposefully hit you with a scene that could... totally seem like
are we talking to the people
actually
or are we talking
real
to the actors?
Yeah, exactly.
But then you can third wall break it, fourth wall. You can go so many layers deep to where he's talking to the person pretending that they're them, and then goes another layer deep and like breaks the scene that they're in. It's like, okay, so do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you like get that I'm like trying to do this? And he's like, okay, can you do that for me? And then he'll like break it again and like go do a tangent off of that thing, and I'm like, "Fuck, man, I'm so lost." And I'm just like, and then all of a sudden he's a giant baby, and I'm like, "Oh, Jesus,
bro." Okay, so
that's the thing I sent you the picture,
dude. Because when I watched, I think it's episode 3 or 4.
I don't know.
It's
right in the middle.
3 or 4 of season 2. There is an episode of television that I don't think laughed harder in a while at, dude, because of how batshit insane it is. The craziest ideas that HBO has ever put money into and greenlit. And they saw, people from HBO probably showed up to a set and went, "What the hell are we doing here? What's happening?
We're making gold.
What is going on?" But at the same time, I don't even want to say it because I want people to experience it. And even trying to I can explain certain parts of episodes that might give away funnier parts, but man,
you're gonna have no idea.
The ride itself and the experience is still, you have to see it all the way through, because there's an episode that's literally just dedicated to the idea of recreating or rehearsing all of Captain Sully's life, all of his life, and I mean all of his life, from birth, infancy,
being a baby in a crib,
toddler, teenager, getting into learning about his weird iPod listening habits, which plays heavily into it, and music, using Evanescence as a backdrop for things. There's just, you're sitting there watching going, I don't know how anyone else could have had any other reaction other than, "Oh, what the fuck's happening? What is happening?"
It's so refreshing to have something this fucking unique, and it's hard to, like we were saying the whole time, we can't explain it and why it is or what it is. You just have to watch it, because it is unlike any sort of piece of television or movie or anything that has ever been put on.
This is just nothing like any sort of The Office, or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or I just started watching Righteous Gemstones, another funny show. But it's those shows are all dedicated to it's a comedy, and how it works. You understand the flow of this show and kind of how things are gonna go. I feel to some extent, with characters and just it's jokes and things.
It's closer to a Borat than anything like that. That still doesn't describe it well, by the way.
Yeah,
it's closer to a Borat because they're interacting with real things and real people. Sometimes, sometimes they're not, because then they're actors.
It's
and
this weird line,
and then he makes himself the actor. Sometimes he makes him recreate, because he's like, "Why am I not connecting with these people?" Then he makes him into the person, the audience, and I'm like, "Fucking hey, man, the show's pretty draining." It was kind of a hard watch for me, just because I was just so overwhelmed, especially because I binged it. I think
you reminded me when you said you're just finished season 1, kind of sad, and then I remembered, I was like, "Oh, I forgot what happened at the end of season 1." Which hits on levels of another, dang, so this is real.
Yeah, there's real.
Because holy shit, that hit on a level, the end of season 1 is a moment with one of the child actors who...
6-year-old actor.
Does not clearly have a father figure in his life.
Oh my god, it was so
sad. And through all the time he spent with Nathan acting as the kid's dad, he does truly become attached to him.
He can't stop calling him dad.
He cannot stop calling him dad. And there's the moment where they're just filming it all, and it's they're trying to basically be filming's done. Great shoot, guys. Last time we'll ever see you. Have fun. Good life. And the kid does not want to go. He just is kind of and even Nathan, you can tell that's a moment for Nathan where he's just
he's
oh my god.
But he's doing it in Nathan Fielder way, where he's
that's a crazy, okay, even if he's probably trying to stay in character while at the same time being oh my gosh, this got real weird real quick, because
dude, that poor mom,
man,
too. I feel the mom's probably even bought into it. That's how good it is.
Dude,
because
it's crazy. It's pretty wild when you see, but more credit to the whole concept itself. It works.
Yeah. Dude,
works.
The dog in season 2. Do you know about the dog when they have the
clone dogs?
The clone dog, where they are trying to make the dog recreate everything that their old dog did, and they end up getting the dog to walk on the couch and mimic the cats.
It did the same thing.
I was like, "Fuck!" This freaked me out. That's what led into him starting to live Sully as his life. And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Season 2 comes in pretty hard with him really hitting home with the "Hey, I'm taking this seriously," and you're still the whole show, the whole time, and really until the finale, you're like, "Man, is he really what's the point? What's the catch here?" But he's going to Congress. He's going to Congress. He's got a dude who's a real dude who's vouching for aviation safety on his side, and he's a part of watching everything. He takes him to the sets.
Yeah, the old guy.
Yeah, the old dude.
Whatever
He's like, so he's taking this dude, and he's still being like, I think there is some validity to this. It's like Nathan is giving everyone the chance to basically tell him, shut it down. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Do it. Like, I'm getting all the professionals in here. I'm doing this all legally, even though I'm finding loopholes at times. But like,
your loopholes.
legally, I'm doing it. And like, he finds the ways to be like, no, fuck you. I'm just going to keep pushing this idea because if he's serious about it, like he is, it seems, I'm going to push my thought. Like, I'm going to keep pushing this, even though there's comedy in it and it's all for humor and entertainment.
Well, he talks about how HBO, he's like, I have to spin this as a comedy show for HBO.
Yeah.
I'm doing something serious. And I'm like, this dude's a fucking autistic genius. I love it.
He
awesome.
thinks in a different way. And yeah, like you said, it's like so refreshing of a show to be like, you just watch it and you're like, what could possibly happen
There's
next?
no predicting anything. There's no expecting things. There's no like, oh, this is what's going to happen. It's always just like complete unknown that's going to happen next.
Just along for the ride, and you know it's going to be funny. I feel like once you settle in and you know, like you kind of, it might, I think one thing for Nathan Fielder that most people, it is a little, like the humor's different. It's not your
unique.
Yeah, it's just not like normal
ways.
ways.
No punchlines. It's not
This isn't jokes.
No...
Like this is not like there's really no idea of jokes in the show or anything. It's all based on the scenarios that he puts people in and himself, and just kind of lets it happen organically. Like he's really good at pulling the weirdness out of people, the absolute craziest things possible. The lady in season 1 that he lives with is whoa.
Yeah.
She's crazy. Like the moments of them arguing and seeing him get genuinely invested in an argument over she doesn't want the kid to celebrate Halloween and go like trick-or-treating because that's of the devil and it's sinner stuff, and it's just like
or how she just says that all Jews go to hell, and she's like, I'm a Jew, you know.
And he starts taking the kid to fucking the synagogue and stuff.
He's like, I haven't been in a synagogue in 20 years. But I'm taking this kid to a synagogue because
it just riles him up. Where he's like, "Oh, I'm totally doubling down now." Like it wouldn't do. He would never do that unless this lady says that, and he's like, "Good Lord, lady, you can't just say that." Like,
didn't give a shit before him, and now he's like, "Okay, so I'm an evil go to hell person."
And it's really just the bluntness of like, man, you watch him talk to someone, and he gives you the like, "Man, this is what I'm thinking about," and you're like, what's he going to do? And they hard cut to him and narrating over going, so here's what I'm doing.
So much narrating.
And you're just like, you are thrown into this next scene where Lord knows what's going to happen. You really, like you said, you just have no clue where the fuck it's going to go. The moment in season 2 when he opens the door as Baby Man is like, and seeing the size,
much to take in.
The size of the set, everything going on, you're like, oh my god! I legit was pausing. I was pausing multiple times because I had just laughing too hard and like kind of being
oh my god,
what is happening?
When he's
breastfeeding,
breastfed, dude.
Dude,
I was like, and he's just, I was just choking the whole time.
I was crying, laughing at that. Like he's just waterboarding himself with the breast milk. Straight up, he's like dying in the moment, and the only thing you hear is nothing but just all of the sounds in his mouth, just so disgusting.
It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse.
Yes, it just gets worse the whole time. But it is so goddamn funny. It's the most unique show I've ever watched in my entire life.
Yeah,
you just absolutely nothing like it. It's funny. It can be weirdly sad and emotional at times. It actually is really heartfelt in a lot of moments, I think, when you get some like real moments from real people and some maybe progress through the process of it all.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just like it is so unique and it's so fun. Like it's one of the funnest shows I have.
It's a fun ride.
So Last of Us had been coming out and that's what we were watching.
Yeah.
And when I would talk to you about it, it was always like we'd watch Last of Us and man, those like last few episodes were just kind of getting like, all right.
No, second to last was awesome.
Yeah, okay. There was some.
I know, just kidding.
Yeah, it was losing some steam.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I'm still watching, but whatever. But I remember thinking the rehearsal started to get up again, and I was like, oh shit! And that became my new.
Was that coming week to week?
Yeah, and it was week by week, and so I would always be pumped. Where I'm like, all right, Last of Us is over, and we record a pod, and I'd be like, fuck, but I get to watch the rehearsal still. It became that new show where I was so excited to watch this, and I'm kind of like, the only thing I wish about is that it's longer, but I can totally see why it's not because it's It looks like one of the hardest shows to make too.
Dude.
I don't know
how. Every time he cuts to a new scene, it's him going to the government or getting flight lessons or building an entire bar or building a house or flying to this place and building something like just. And I'm like, oh my god, all of this has to cost so much.
So much money. So much.
Clearly enough people watched the first one to where they gave him definitely a bigger budget for season 2.
Had to have been.
He like.
And I can't imagine everything you saw on screen in season 2 was like just HBO budget. I feel like when it comes to the pilot stuff, he has to front some of the money.
Yeah.
And like, there's no way they're just like actually, here you go. Like for show purposes, I'm sure there's some level of compensation there, but I would love to know what they act like. What are the meetings like with him when they go in? He's like, okay, we want a season 2, and he goes, how much? And they're like, well, what do you have in mind? And he's probably like, I have no idea yet, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because that's how it feels the show is going. It feels like every episode ends and you were watching them film and then they click off the cameras and then they are all like, what's the next episode?
Dude, oh my god. So I have to bring this up because I've tried to a couple times and I keep forgetting. But the autism side quest.
Yeah.
Of him. Not even like what he does and like how he uses it to meet with the governor and like how he finds out that like apparently everybody who's autistic loves watching my show season 1 or whatever. So and I was like, oh my god, that stuff is funny and all that or whatever. But the subplot of him like teasing that he's autistic and like getting his test and like him doing the test when they're going through the computer with the doctor and he's like, okay, so that's what somebody would say there. She's like, so what would you say? And he's like, maybe A, B, or C, and it was D. They were all wrong, and then they do one more, and he's like, okay, but that's like what someone would say there, right? He's like, whatever. And then how he goes in with the doctor.
The chick was so funny there, too, just trying so hard to be like, yeah, but what's your answer?
Yeah.
So what would you say?
And he's like, well, I mean, somebody would
I
say
think it's,
like
not only is it hilarious of a concept, but it hits, it actually hits home on the issue he's talking about at times where I didn't know with pilots they do like the yearly like doctor's list checkup thing where they have to do a checkbox list, and it's pretty insane the levels of like, okay, are you 100% perfectly good to go? You have no signs of anything, which could include like he gets to the point where it just says anxiety, and he's like, well, okay, yeah, I felt anxiety, but like if I check this, they're going to tell me I'm not suited to fly. What? Because I have anxiety? And it's like that concept to me was crazy where he's hitting on
the real stuff.
He teases, do I have autism? And then he doesn't get his brain test results and things don't come in time. So he has to just look at this thing and go, I don't think I'm autistic. No. But is he? And it's like,
dude, well,
can he fly a plane? And it just kind of hits that level of like, but he did the job.
Dude, but it goes to the end. It goes to the end because the outro when he's like landing the plane and he's doing the voiceover and he's like and showing like a montage or whatever. And he like pulls up his email of his test results on there, and the voiceover of him on the montage is saying, "Only the best of the best people can fly planes. Nobody in these cockpits have issues." Or he says something along those lines, and he goes to his email that he got the result from, and he just deletes it. I was like, oh my god, dude. He's just the autism plotline was just great in the whole thing.
It works really well. It does hits home on
so
the
many
thing
all the time.
Yeah,
like, Jesus.
It really just full circled everything where it gets to the root of the issue that he's handling, and it's like, man, this dude's kind of fucking serious about this shit.
He was the slowest to ever get his pilot's license. Like,
totally
ever
believe
at that. School academy.
Totally believe that. He seems
so funny.
I can only imagine. I mean, I love the clips of him they do like a quick cut montage of the amount of times all
taking
on
controls.
Landings. Yeah, take my controls.
Yeah.
My controls, like 10 times in a row. It felt like, and you're
he's
just
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you see him where he's just like, fucking hey, god damn it, like I cannot get this, but I totally believe it, and it works so well for him to be like, yeah, you know what? I found the loophole. I'm not good at this shit, but I'm gonna figure out and work my ass off to become good enough that they say I'm deemed worthy to fly. And then I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, they use all my loopholes to put actors in a plane
It's crazy he even talking about like taking on almost just like the side job of flying the like old 737s with just him and a co-pilot. They're like empty and they just like transport them to other places. And he just does that. And like that's That's just sick as fuck. That's so cool. So he's just like a pilot
for 2 years.
Yeah.
Between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah,
he's just learning how to fly.
Doing that shit to do it. It's like, that's so cool.
This dude is one of those people that probably would have been like a amazing detective or something in another life if he wasn't a comedian. Because him in the backgrounds, and maybe it's exaggerated for the show. Well, I'm sure it's exaggerated for the show, but him of going back and watching the footage and analyzing stuff and like putting up like those puzzles. I don't know the names of them, but you know like how detectives have like the boards on their walls with like the people's faces and the strings and stuff. And it seems like he's like, we'll call it a war room. And he's got like his war rooms of every scenario and tangent that he goes off every time and how he dives into it and how he learns about it and how he sees. And I'm like, Jesus, man, this dude just goes in. I was like, yeah, he's a genius. He's a genius on a wild level.
It wouldn't work unless Nathan exists. Like, it's so crazy how he's so clearly the dude, the driving force of all of this. He is such a fucking crazy man in his head, but the way he can pull scenarios together and actually have a point at the end blows my mind every time. Yeah. It is crazy to see him bring back the thing where you're like 30 minutes into the episode, the thing he said at the start, which is the point of the episode, you don't remember because we're no longer there until the last 30 seconds and he finds a way to bring it back. And you're like, oh.
And he just gets to do it with just a ridiculous budget. Like
it's so good. I don't know if they've been greenlit or anything for a season 3. I don't think so.
We'll have to see.
But I really feel like I've seen a lot of more talk about season 2 because of just some of there's a lot more clippable moments.
The baby
thing is
all of it.
I am so glad I did not know that was coming. I didn't see it or anything because it is a roller coaster of an episode.
I wasn't really paying attention when it came up. I think I was on my phone or something and I looked up and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? What? And that's when I took the picture and sent it to you. I was like, bro.
The picture's so funny. It's like you can see the size of the set is so big. They have the puppets and they have people just in all black holding giant ass sticks to hold the puppet arms up to act as the fake parents for him as the baby in a full ass crib.
Dude, and then when he becomes like a 6-year-old and he has his parents with the normal bodies and heads,
but the elongated
giant arms and legs. I was like, this is horrifying. I hate this.
It's so funny.
And why did they make the little sister have that weird fucked up face? I didn't understand that.
I can't even remember. I don't even remember, honestly.
It's him and they like go out to their mailbox and that's when mom and dad first get introduced in their little stilt legs. Oh. And he's like doing something with his sister, but his sister has this like puppet like nutcracker fucking face on her head. Okay. Like, why does she have that?
I think I'm getting little spurts of it. But
it was horrifying. One other thing I want to bring up too, because it's a smaller thing, but it was so funny and just ridiculous and just outrageous, just like the whole show. But back to season 1 with fucking psycho religious lady and her going on dates with people and then finding that, I don't remember his name, but the black guy on there.
I don't remember.
Do you remember who I'm talking about? The black guy, the one who comes back to the house with her and agrees to stay the night and watch the kid.
Potentially. God, I need to rewatch season 1.
Damn.
See, that's the thing. I got to rewatch season 1 still.
So she goes out on several dates, not clicking with anybody, blah, blah, blah. She goes out on one date with one guy. It's this really young black guy who's also really religious, but like freaks out about numbers. He's like, see, 222, good vibes, blessings. Or whatever.
I'm starting to remember a little bit.
And so she actually brings him back to her house and explains everything to him in the scenario. And is like, so would you want to try staying the night with me and like doing all this? Nathan goes back with him to the dude's apartment to get all of his stuff to stay there that night to do it. He gets in a fight with his roommate.
That's right.
He takes a bunch of hits off the bong, and then Nathan's like, "So can I drive? You know, you've been like smoking and stuff." He's like, "No, man, I'm fine. I drive by all the time." He's like, "Yeah, but like that's illegal. Like, can I drive?" And he's like, no. And the dude just keeps saying no to him. And then it just cuts to Nathan driving. And so they get to the house, and the dude comes in. And they sleep on the drive there. He's like, I mean, I know what you guys, the dude who's about to stay with her, not Nathan. He's like, I know what you guys have been saying. And I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm going to get lucky tonight. Because the whole thing, she's like, she's not having sex. She's 44. She's super religious. She's not giving that up for anybody, blah, 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 in the marriage. All that whole thing. And he's like, just talking about, he's like, I think I'm going to get lucky tonight. And then you go in there and cut in, and then they like say goodnight, and they have to go sleep in separate rooms. And then the robot baby just keeps crying all night. He has to get up like 4 or 5 times. And then all of a sudden, he's got all of his stuff in the middle of the night. He's like leaving out the door. And she's like, are you leaving? He's like, yeah. And then he just leaves, and I was like, we never saw that dude again. I was like, and the whole time he's just talking about numbers and pointing them out. He's like, 777, heaven or whatever.
Dude was just, he's just trying to fuck.
I was like, that dude's just out of his body. He's like 20 years younger than her, probably.
He was just trying to fuck.
It's a smaller one in the big grand scheme of everything in the show, season 1 and season 2, but like, that shit was so funny.
I forgot until you started saying it though, and I can remember that now. Where the baby's going off, and he's like trying his best to just like be like.
He tried a couple times. I was surprised he ever got up.
And then being like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, what the hell?
Just because it's an HBO show. Yeah, this crazy lady in the house.
Just that exact realization moment of this is not what I want. No, I'm out. Like, this is not worth any of my time. What the fuck am I doing? That shit is so good though. Season 1. Disorganized is not a good word to say because it sounds bad, but it's just like a lot of tangents, but they're always funny. They're always good. That lady is so crazy.
Dude,
she's wild. She's she's got a long list of requirements if you want to be with her.
Well, that's why she's 44 and she is not,
dude,
nothing.
The child not being able to go to do trick-or-treating hit on a level where I was like, bro, I grew up hella religious and like conservative Christian. My parents never once, like, there were maybe a couple times where it was like, we don't like the idea of like some of Halloween's like weird, I don't know, witchcrafty like
but then Nathan says, he's like, so you don't want the kid to just dress up like a pumpkin and go get candy?
It's like
we don't have to do any satanic and ritual stuff.
Yeah,
like, it's just
I've honestly, it's like
just the idea.
My parents didn't allow us. We always went trick or treating. It was never treated as anything other than it's just Halloween. You go get free candy.
Yeah,
and just that concept of like him being like, what is your like, what are you talking about? Like that's crazy. And she's like, no, you wouldn't. Her stubbornness to be like, no, you don't understand it though. And, like, there's no compromise.
Oh, my God,
there's no compromise.
The fucking kid, when he gets older, and they have the whole dramatic scene of him overdosing, and the girl comes down, and he's holding he's like, I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden he goes up to her, and he's like, can we reset? And she's like, whatever you think is best for the show. And they reset to him being a 6-year-old. That's when he connects with the 6-year-old.
Can we reset after just the most traumatic
experience? I was like, they come in there, it's all like blue light. He was like recording himself, like doing whatever he was supposed to be creating. And they send him in the hospital, and he gets out of the stretcher and runs into the forest. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Oh my God, it's a great
the
show.
Chaos of it all is so funny. A lot of other shows try to pull like some outrageous things at times that don't land for me, but this show can do anything it wants, and I'm gonna laugh. It's
conditioned you to be ready for
you know to be prepped for like anything can happen, anything, and it just explores the facets of like what it also hits on a level of like this dude got what feels like an unlimited HBO budget to create a show, and he said, let's go crazy. Let's just do it.
When he creates the airport and then puts his bar from season 1 in the airport. Like, this is
sick callback.
It really is.
It was great. Perfect. Anyone who watches season 1, you're like, dude, he's so committed to this. Yeah. He's the most dedicated to the bit I have ever seen anyone ever in my lifetime from like comedy. He is. You will never know when he's being real because you've never probably seen him be real ever.
So when he's setting up oh my God, there's so many things still. When he's setting up the different, when he's trying to get that one pilot to like get hooked up with the girl, that's a tangent thing. When he's like meeting with all the pilots, and he's
Colin?
Colin. He's like, I'm gonna super awkward dude, but it actually seems kind of interesting. Like the old black lady that gets excited about him and says that she gets wet dreams from Einstein. Yeah, and it's like saying, he doesn't attract me physically, but he's smart and intelligent, just like Einstein with my wet dreams. They're all in the bar that they put in the airport, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then there's the other one cute girl that's like actually interested in him that they start talking to. And she comes up in the middle of their conversation and is like, you remind me of Einstein. And I'm like, oh God. She's like that 50.
Social scenario there. Okay, this is also a show where almost half of it I don't watch. I have to look away because the secondhand embarrassment and cringe at times is it's unbearable. Sometimes it is so the kiss in season 2 with him, with Colin.
I literally
bro, it was one of those like, no, I don't know, man, I don't know. And then
it was a kiss on the cheek, wasn't it?
Yeah, he still doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
And it was the after he hits her with the They're supposed to kiss, and he's been rehearsing. He gives him a character to play to kind of give him the like
Sir Kiss-a-Lot or whatever he likes to do, where he gives him the name.
It's your go-ahead. She knows it. This is your time. It's totally okay. You do not need to be worried. And he still can't really do it. He doesn't kiss her on the lips. He backs out right to the cheek, and it's like so quick, and he pulls back, and she sits there and looks at him for what feels like an eternity. Like, and I mean, she's looking at him so hard.
She's supposed to be acting and be like...
But you can tell, she was like, is that fucking it? Like, go in again. And the whole time I'm sitting there like, kill me.
It was so
I don't
brutal.
know if I can do this, but yet I'm laughing, and yet I'm like, I'm not going to stop it.
Oh,
yeah, you're watching what feels like real people in real moments at times, and just seeing like, I'm such a sucker for like, I don't know. I'm just always, I love watching people in like those scenarios, in like tough scenarios at times, but like getting real reactions and like those like, oh, you just watched every part of that unfold, and it was not pretty. Like,
it's weird too because they're supposed to be like acting and supposed to be like in a quote unquote. The dude obviously not, but the girl.
It's tough, yeah.
Like,
he tried.
Also she's not.
He did go further. He did. The other dates we saw, and he would not. It was never gonna.
Another
happen.
slight tangent, kind of. It's still the same scene of one of these really small tangent things where he's like trying to set up all the scenarios with Colin and going on a date with a girl. He's got the 5 booths there, and again, he's always standing there with the computer and just going.
Just analyzing.
And just standing there with the head down and kind of eyes up thing that he does.
He's not an inviting person.
Fuck. No.
He does not seem like the guy you want to talk to.
But he's watching all the booths, and then he's like trying to set up sex scenarios and being like, okay, actors are going to play sex.
Oh my God, that.
And he brings in one of the actresses' boyfriend.
Dude.
To watch it, and he sits next to him, and he's like, so how does this make you feel? Like you don't feel like she's having sex with another man or anything?
I had visceral reactions.
Yeah, and I was like, and the dude
my.
then you could tell he's just such a soft man, like he's just scrawny little. Here's the young.
He brings
dude.
in the intimacy coordinator, and even like that's one of the most real moments I think from Nathan in the whole show is he looks at the intimacy coordinator and he goes, like, "Are you seeing this?"
Yeah,
and kind of being like, "They're like this." Trying to, without saying it, to be
fucking.
like, they're not acting anymore. This is definitely crossing a little bit of a line, probably. But I can't say that because this is great content, and I'll never say no.
Yeah, they're horny.
But and then the intimacy coordinator is just kind of like, well, they consented.
Yeah,
and
if they get in there.
And then you bring that boyfriend in to watch it happening, and even he's like, well, she's playing a character. It's not that.
Yeah, I see her as being like, someone else, and her character is having sex with this guy.
Watching people try to cope. Just coping the whole time, just finding ways to be like, no, it's fine.
Just to try to be in the
fine.
world of
it's
show
so
business.
fine, and it's like, are you seeing what this chick is acting with this other guy?
They go full on take the bra off.
The best part is you see all the other people. So you get the perspective of like, okay, nobody else is going this ham.
No,
everyone else is still like trying to tread a line of some extent. These two from the get-go went full bore. Not only that, they sat by each other on the flight. Did you notice that?
I did not notice
that. Like, this is that kind of show where you're watching, everyone gets in the fight. I'm like, those two are fucking sitting next to each other. Of course they are. Look at this. Like, they're always by each other. And now there's like a second thing for me to watch within the show. And that hasn't necessarily...
Oh my God. So many.
There's so many things, where you're watching in the background and it might not be touched upon. You might just get a quick snippet, but like, endlessly rewatchable, I feel like, too. The show is... Oh, man. You forget, like, we haven't even really touched on...
There's so much.
It's like you're getting hit with something funny every 2 seconds, it feels like. And they're always bouncing to a different thing, and everything's so, like, smart, I feel like, is what it is, too. I'm always just, again, like, blown away where I'm like, this dude's a genius. Fuck.
It's convoluted with drawing. Like, it'll just draw you in the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
You just have to know what happens next. I think it's hard not to. You're always going to be like, I got to see what's going to happen in the next one.
Yeah, it's... I feel like we covered as much as we could on this because it's just so... And again, probably almost all of you, because I bet almost nobody that... Other than Grant, maybe.
Grant is the only other person.
Almost none of you have watched this, so you're all going to be like, what the fuck are they saying? And you're all probably tuned out within the first 5 minutes. But
yeah, if anything doesn't sum up how we're talking about the most convoluted show ever, this convoluted conversation is obvious of how insane it is.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you got any excitement, you want to see something super unique, you like comedy, you like the fourth wall breaking, you like I mean, just...
One of the funniest shows I've watched in a long time.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, it's... God, it's good. It's not like It's hard to explain too, because I was gonna say it's not like a greatest show of all time or anything like that. It's not like, oh, this is peak television. It's like, this is just a whole new thing. It's a whole new thing.
It sits in its own ballpark.
Yeah,
it's just I will give its own award for it being the rehearsal.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to go just see this, just to like experience it, at least try to watch. Because you can get pretty hooked in and get the concept and idea, kind of, I guess, until it still starts really going off tangents.
By the point
from the first episode.
Honestly, this is one of the few shows where if you've lost where like the point of where you're going, usually you're gonna be like, oh well, you're fine, because you're still laughing along and everything is still so situational to what's happening exactly at that moment. And usually he's always narrating a lot to kind of constantly give you the backstory to be like, here's why we're here, here's why we're here, here's why we're here, because we've been going through a lot of places. So he's always reiterating like the point of what's happening while leading you astray every time.
So we'll wrap up here a little bit, but I definitely recommend to go watch that show. Go watch Lilo and Stitch if you're into that too. I know that's a completely different thing than what we're talking about here. But,
either way.
Tune in next week. I don't know what we're going to be talking about or doing. I have a few things and stuff. There's a dude. I sent you a post on Instagram, but there's a lot of movies coming out. Do you care about seeing Ballerina at all? Or are you like kind of out on that?
Yeah. No, I feel like I'd see that.
Yeah, I heard that again. Action. Jeremy Johns did a review on it. I get. It seems like the action is awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to watch those for. So
that's my guilty pleasure. Is like, even though it's not a John Wick movie, it literally is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you just
also Ana de Armas is sick. I like her.
Yeah, she's dope. So maybe we'll try to go see that, but there's a lot of movies coming out this month. So 28 Years Later comes out this month. There's a few other things too.
My only other show, like I just told you at some point, but like Righteous Gemstones is my
I don't know what that is, but
that's an HBO.
I've heard of the name.
Yeah, it's HBO. Danny McBride. It is like 4 seasons. It's about like they're televangelists, so they're like super rich, like Joel Osteen. If you know that, like them in a fictional world.
Okay.
Really, really funny though. I highly recommend.
HBO too.
I think it's been a good. The funny shows have been a nice draw away from like Last of Us being so serious at times and like
Severance.
Really
Well, Severance actually has some good.
Severance was funny,
but
still very like
just Dylan
dread. Like there's a lot of dread in some of those shows, and the like watching the Rehearsal and something like Righteous Gemstones has just been like so like.
Did we watch Dune Prophecy this year?
I never finished it.
Oh, you never watched it?
I still never finished it.
That was this year, though, wasn't it? We didn't do that at the end of last
maybe. No, I don't know. I feel like that was last year.
Maybe. It was definitely in like November, December, or like January, February.
I feel like that was probably last year. Right? Like, yeah, I do.
We're halfway through.
God, I don't know. Oh, shit, yeah, it's June.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, stay tuned for next week.
Yeah, they both work.
We'll see what we'll be watching. I don't know yet. It'll be a surprise for you guys. But
always
thanks.
is.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Hope you like that outro.